Me and my friend have been stuck in the school gym for 55 days. Probably saw the title, and yes, it was genuinely clickbait, but not really. No! Today's another story time video. Today I'm going to be telling the story of how I got locked in a school gym. So as of filming this happened 2 days ago. It's just a normal school day. I walk into school pretty usual. You know, I go through my first 4 periods, we have lunch, and then we have a thing called Spartan time. Now, that makes no sense to you guys, which, I mean, obviously it shouldn't. Pretty much what it is you sign up at the beginning of the month, and they have a bunch of clubs, activities, like, there's a million options for like 30 minutes before you go to your next period. It's usually pretty nice. So my schedule for March, which is the current month we are in, is Monday, nothing, Tuesday, tennis, Wednesday, open gym, where the gym's open to everybody that signs up for it, and you can play basketball, volleyball, whatever you want to do in there. It's open gym. And then I just have study hall the rest. So that's my schedule. So it's Wednesday, right? So I'm doing my usual schedule. I'm playing basketball with the friends I always play with in open gym. Absolutely cooking them up because they're terrible. Playing basketball. My friend Colin, great friends with him. We have a study hall together like an hour before Spartan time. So like we see each other, I wouldn't say frequently throughout the day, but we see each other a good amount. So anyway, we have Spartan time together. We play basketball together. He's usually on my team. It's nothing crazy. I was really thirsty because once again, I just absolutely clapped these kids' cheeks in basketball. So he has a water bottle. I'm like, hey, can I have that water bottle? Or I just asked for a drink. I didn't ask for his water bottle. And he said, yeah, sure, I don't really care. And so, you know, after I was done drinking, you know, we're friends, so we do pretty mean stuff to each other. So I put gum in his water bottle. It wasn't anything that would destroy the water bottle. It was like literally you could have gotten it out. And I was going to get it out. I was just doing it for a second. And, you know, we started dying laughing because it was so hilarious at the time. So anyway, he's like, you're going to get it out. And I'm like, okay, give me a minute. And he's like, no, you're going to get it out right now. And I'm like, shut up. No, I'm not. There's a water fountain like literally down the hall. And so anyway, he takes the water bottle and starts trying to pour it on me. He's trying to pour water on me and he's pretty much starting to pour. So at this point, I'm like, okay, no matter what, water is getting on the gym floor. So I punched the water bottle out of his hand. Now, I know this seems like a bad thing. We probably got in trouble for this. We actually didn't. So I punched the water bottle. That thing went flying across the gym floor. And loudest noise you've ever heard. Water spilt everywhere. Luckily, it was just water. Obviously, we wouldn't have done that if it was, you know, we wouldn't have been messing around if it wasn't just water. Like, we knew if it was going to get spilled, we could easily clean it up. I don't think either of us expected the whole bottle to go flying because he kind of did just let it go like an idiot. And so it went flying. Wasn't that big of a deal because the gym teacher, he's pretty chill about stuff like that. But he got pretty ticked. He was just like, make sure you just clean it up. He's like, you're not leaving till you clean that up. But like, I mean, he didn't yell at us. We obviously didn't get in trouble. We just had to clean it up. So wasn't that big of a deal. We were like, all right, that's fine. It's not going to take that long. Well, we go grab paper towels. The bell rings. So open gym is over. Which isn't that crazy. You get 3 minutes between each period. We're like, dude, this is only going to take like 5 seconds. We may be like 2 seconds late to class, but most teachers are pretty chill. Like, they're not marking you tardy if you're like 40 seconds late. Like, they won't. And I had my science teacher, he's pretty chill. So I knew if I was just a tiny bit late, he wasn't going to care. So I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. You know, he had a type of history class to where he wasn't doing anything that day. I was doing testing, but it usually takes a good 5 minutes till they start getting into the testing. So it wasn't that big of a deal, right? So we're going to clean up this water. We weren't in trouble. He just told us to make sure we cleaned it up before we left. That was fine. We weren't in trouble. We were laughing. We thought it was a hilarious joke. We get over to the water and we realize the entire water bottle was spilled. We thought just a little bit came out of the lid and then like it rolled across the floor. No, the whole lid came off and that thing went flying. Didn't realize that, but till we came back. So anyway, we're like, dang, we are definitely going to be late to class. That is what it is. If we're late to class, that's fine. I'll get a tardy slip and I'll just have to start testing like 5 minutes late. It wasn't really that big of a deal. We're like, we have to clean this up anyway. We have a true excuse. A teacher told us to stay somewhere, so we're fine. This isn't that big of a deal. And so anyway, we start cleaning. It's taken so long. And anyway, the bell rings. So we're like, okay, 5th period has started. So we start counting down the time. And I mean, we've got a decent amount of water up at this point. And then 5 minutes goes past. We're like, dang, we're actually going to be late to class. And then over the speakers, because there's an announcement thing that comes on. Over the speakers, we're like, wow, our teachers are really calling us over the announcements just to tell us to get to class, because that's usually what they do. The speaker goes off. And we hear our assistant principal go, we're going into lockdown. When I tell you, like, a million things went through my mind, because he took a good 5-second pause between we're going into lockdown and the rest of the announcement. I'm sitting there like, I'm really about to run out of this gym and run because somebody's about to kill me. And then, God bless our assistant principal, he goes, it's a soft lockdown for drug testing. Do not go out in the hallways. Everyone must stay in a classroom. Pardon the interruption. Thank you. So at this point, you know, for the 5 seconds there, I thought I was about to be killed. And then the next 10 seconds, he makes that announcement. We can't leave the gym. And we're like, are we serious right now? And then, like, literally, like, 5 seconds after this announcement ends, 2 teachers on the other side of the gym, 2 teachers on the other side. We're like in the middle to the side. The doors get locked. Because the doors were already shut, but all you have to do is like I don't know what they do. They have a key or something and they lock the doors, and we just look at each other for a good 3 seconds. And we're like, well, first of all, we couldn't leave because if we go out in the hallway, we're tampering with drug testing. Which nothing was wrong with the school. They just, in public school, they make you randomly do drug testing. That just kind of happens. So now we were like, we're going to be late to class. There's a lockdown. Wait, now we can't go out in the hallway. Now we're locked in the gym. Literally locked in the gym. We just kind of sit there and think what to do. So we get on our Chromebooks, email our assistant principal, which she's the only principal there. Then we both email our teachers and tell them what's going on. And we just kind of sit there. We're like, what do we do? First of all, we couldn't go out there, and now we can't go out there. Literally can't. We're stuck in the gym. We just kind of sit there for 10 minutes just talking because each period is 49 minutes. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. And now, at this point in the story, there's still 35 minutes to go. We got a good amount of time. 30 minutes left. We're sitting there and we're like, well, since we're in lockdown, the period can also be extended because of the drug testing. This could be like the rest of the day. We didn't know what was exactly going on. And in our minds, we're like, could we possibly get in trouble for this? Because we're technically skipping class and we're also not in any room for drug testing, which we weren't supposed to get drug tested. But like at this point, we didn't know really what was going on. We just heard the announcement, so we had no teacher telling us what to go on. What to do or anything. So we're sitting in the gym making up a bunch of assumptions. So at this point, we really have no clue and we can't leave the gym. So at this point, we don't know if we're going to get in trouble or what. So that's why we made sure we emailed our assistant principal and teachers. That way, like, there was proof that we weren't, like doing anything wrong. Like, we were genuinely asking and concerned. So we're just kind of sitting there. We're like, well, might as well clean up the rest of this water because maybe someone will walk in. It's not going to look like we were just gooning around in here. And so we just start cleaning. We got it up pretty fast. I mean, honestly, most of it really dried there in the 10 minutes of us just talking. And we just turned on some Frank Sinatra, sat there, me and Colin. Here's a picture. So we cleaned the rest of that gym floor, all of that river that was on the floor. And then we ended up playing football. And at the same time, in our minds, we didn't really want to get caught. We didn't want someone on the outside to see us and make it look like we were messing around. And at this point, while we were passing football, we had nothing else to do. And if they were going to try and blame us for skipping anything, like there's cameras in the gym, they were going to see that nothing happened. And also our gym teacher told us to stay in there, and there was emails as proof. So like we knew no matter what, we were going to be able to defend ourselves. We didn't do anything wrong. We just kind of got stuck. So anyway, we sit there, we hear that lockdown's over. But at this point, we're like, there's 5 minutes left of the period. What are we going to do? We're going to walk all the way to our classes. Bell's gonna ring. There's no point there. But then like 2 minutes goes by after lockdown's over. We only have 3 minutes until sixth period. It was wraps. We weren't getting to that class. Assistant principal walks in. He's like, "Hey, were you the two that sent me the email?" And when he said this, I kind of wanted to be like, no. But anyway, I was like, dang, we're really cooked. He's gonna yell at us. Something's gonna happen. He was like, but luckily, my buddy Colin, he was like, yeah, no, I just didn't know what to do. The like lockdown, blah, blah, blah. And me just transferred there only like 2 months ago. So I've had a sample amount of time there, but at the same time, I'm technically still newer. So I just kind of stayed silent. So Colin explained the situation, and the assistant principal was like, oh, no, it's fine. We were sitting in there not knowing what was going on, locked in a high school gym, thinking we were going to get detention. We were like, something bad was going to happen. And we also didn't know what else was going on, like drug testing, anything. We didn't know what was going on. But no, it was just casual drug testing. And we just had to skip class for that day. He told both of our teachers, and both of our teachers was like, no, that's fine. For me, I had a test that day, but I was able to just take it the next period. So yeah, that's the story of how I got locked in my high school gym. I know, I kind of clickbaited you with the thumbnail. It's a story I'm going to remember for a long time. And so yeah, if you guys like these storytime videos, let me know, because I truly enjoy making them, because I got a lot of stories. Some stories I probably shouldn't tell that I am going to tell.